Hello everybody, it's been a minute, and today I'm going to be unboxing a Jinhao X159 fountain pen. These pens are made in China, and they're known for being inexpensive. Sorry if you're wanting this to be a satisfying unboxing. I really messed that one up. There's the pen. That is it. Bare bones. Cut down on cost by minimizing packaging, right? And there she is. It's been a minute since I made a video. I have a different desk and even a different light. The lighting is not top down, it's now coming from over there. And so it's not as easy to see, but you can see the word Jinhao printed on the cap band. What is that? I think that says X159. The model. Simple clip. Nothing on the bottom. This is like a copy of a Mont Blanc fountain pen. It's a screw to uncap. It's got this big honking nib at the end of it. I ordered it at a fine because I tend to favor thicker lines, medium, for writing and drawing. And I thought if I'm going to justify buying another fountain pen that I don't need, I should at least get one that's a little different from the ones that I have. Now, like I said, this is an inexpensive fountain pen. You can get them for $10 to $15 online. Let's fill it with some ink and try it out. Now, I like to use, ooh boy, this is platinum carbon ink, black. I'll kind of do some talking while I fill this pen. Now, I actually bought one of these a couple of years ago and enjoyed it. And I brought it with me on a trip to Toronto. And somewhere on my trip, I dropped it. And when I got home, it wasn't in my bag anymore. And I don't know, never saw it again. And I was bummed, but once again, it's not an expensive pen. So we're gonna dip it in the ink, screw this piston to try to draw some ink into it, and really no ink came up this time. You can see, barely submerged the nib. I have 2 bottles of this ink in my apartment. This is the more full one, but maybe this is a sign that it's time to order a third. The first bottle, yeah, look at that, no ink is getting drawn up. Okay, this is a bad sign. Maybe if I use they include this thing in the bottle to make filling your pen easier. Maybe I should try using that. Screwing the piston down and back up. It's again, no ink. Oh, now it's stuck in there. This isn't working. Now this is something where pen people are going to tell me, oh, you should actually rinse out your pen with water before you fill it for the first time. because there can be residue left in the pen from like the machining process or something. But I'm kind of impatient. I just got this pen in the mail. I brought it upstairs to my apartment and said, oh, I'm gonna open my new pen. And I was like, oh, I haven't made a video in, you know, a year or so. Let's go for it. I didn't plan this. I didn't anticipate this being an issue. So why isn't it? Why is it doing such a horrible job of sucking ink into it? Let's just try it a bunch more times. A bunch of air in there, and I need to get the air out or something. I need to get the flow. Maybe I'm twisting it too fast. Let's try really slowly. I don't know, man. It really doesn't want to work. Okay, I have an idea. My suspicion is that the ink level in this bottle is so low that it's not. There we go. I think I can see. No, my eyes are playing tricks on me. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. This sucks. So anyways, yeah, I had one of these and I left it. I lost it in Toronto, and I thought, oh, I can always buy another one. That was like 2 years ago I lost this thing. Excuse me. I can see the other bottle of ink I have from here. I'm gonna walk across the room and get it. Now with this bottle, you can pretty clearly see it's very low, right? But I think if I pour this ink into this bottle, kind of marry the two bottles of ink, maybe that'll be something. You know what, I'm gonna remove this. I was about to say, there really wasn't much ink in there, but the strange thing about ink, as opposed to other liquids, is you don't need much to make a big impact. What I mean is, with just like a drop of ink, you know, if it's, you can do a lot of writing or drawing, you know, with just a little bit of ink by volume. So I've avoided doing what I just did on camera. I've avoided doing that, pouring the contents of an old bottle of ink into the new bottle, because I thought, well, even though they're the same brand of ink, oh, look at that, it worked. Hell yeah. I've avoided doing that, because I thought, oh, they're the same brand, but maybe, you know, different batches, or maybe in the process of filling my old bottle of, filling pens from the old bottle, right? Okay, so you have a bottle of ink, you got it for however long you have it, a year or so. I don't know how long it takes me to go through one of these things. I don't go through them that quickly. But I also don't use other types of ink, really. I kind of found, you know, this one, and I like it, so I just use this one now. I have some other bottles kicking around, but I don't really use them very often. So my thought was, oh, I'm sticking pens in this bottle of ink. I'm filling pens with ink, and maybe like some, you know, dust or dirt or debris or something gets in the bottle. And then if I pour that old, now you know, whatever you want to call it, soiled, corrupted bottle into my new clean bottle, then that's maybe bad. Or they're different batches and maybe the viscosities are different, you know. But really at the end of the day, here's the thing, folks. I'm just some guy. I am a hobbyist. I like fountain pens. I like to write with them. I like to draw with them. But I am neither a professional artist nor writer. I am really a hobbyist, an amateur in every sense of the word. And yeah, you can see this new desk. I said new desk, but there's, oh boy, look at this. Look at this. I don't need to tell you I'm an amateur. You can tell by watching this video. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let me, give me one more second. I have a bottle of water off screen. You know, I'll do it on camera so you can see if I messed this part up too. I'm going to pour a little bit of water on this paper towel. And now clean the surface of the desk. Look at that, we've got a big nice ink stain on the desk now. It's okay. This is a desk that originally came from IKEA. Was I the original purchaser of this desk from IKEA? No, I was not. I bought this desk secondhand on Facebook Marketplace. Got a good deal on it, so it's okay. And guess what? I use the desk for writing and drawing and other things. It's okay if there's some ink stains on there. We'll address that after the video. You know what I have that I could try? I have some alcohol wipes. Disinfecting wipes. I don't know if this will work. Let's find out. This is, now we're a science channel. Maybe a little bit. This is so funny. Really kind of doing very little. But no, you can see it's picking up something. It's picking stuff up. Well, we've unboxed the pen. We have filled the pen with ink. We have, you know, despite laying down paper towels, we have stained the desk with ink. And we have moderately successfully cleaned up the stain. Yeah, it's mostly gone. The funniest part is that I do these videos, you know, very, very infrequently now. But my desk is honestly, I bought this desk because I needed a bigger desk. And look at that. Just getting more, just making it worse. Oh, brother. I bought this desk because I wanted a bigger desk. And when I shoot the video, I'm like, okay, I gotta clean the desk off. And if you could see this entire desk right now, it is cluttered with so much stuff right outside of frame. There's like truly like, where is this camera end? Right here. Yeah, there's like stuff right over there and there and there. This is not a beautiful, pristine desk. Anyway, just letting you know what goes on behind the scenes. Don't trust what you see on the internet. So, I've filled the pen. I like this pen. I bought it again because, look, Jinhao makes inexpensive pens. They are not of the highest quality, but they're not trash either. I think for the price, they do a good job. And And it's fun to have a fountain pen with a big old nib. I think I said it's a number 8 nib. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm fairly certain that's what it is. I have another pen right here. Yes, of course I have a little crab guy to hold the pen. Here, I'll put this over here. I have another video on my channel from a few years ago of me unboxing this pen, the Sailor 1911 Compass. I don't remember what size nib this is called, but you can see big difference. Now, you may be asking the question, why do we care how big the nib is? Does the size of the nib determine the thickness of the line? No, it does not. As far as I know, what determines the thickness is, this is a fine nib. If it were a broad nib, there are smaller nibs in size that can get thicker lines, right? I don't really know what nib size does. We can all go to reddit.com/fountain pens and find out at a later date, right after this video. How about that? We go and we see what the nerds have to say. You know what? I mean nerds in a loving way. I myself am a nerd. Look at me. I'm making fountain pen videos on YouTube. So, look, those people know a lot more than I do about pens. I got into this hobby watching videos on YouTube of people writing and drawing and unboxing fountain pens. So it carried over to real life, right? I bought myself a pen, got back into drawing as an adult. So it's really a love story, it's a full circle moment. So I bought this sketchbook last weekend. It's what's the brand? Here it goes. Stillman and Byrne. It's the Zeta series. The very kind associate at the art store said that this type of paper would be good for pen and ink drawing. And I've only used it a little bit, but I believe she was right. I'm glad she was there to help guide me. I will write the name of the pen. There we go. Jinhao X159 platinum carbon. Black. My first impressions. This is writing okay. Oop, sorry about that. I'm standing up. My foot nudged the thing. If I press very lightly, you see you can get really fine lines, which is, honestly, that's a good thing. We get some line variation out of this thing. I've found after a few years writing and drawing with fountain pens, you shouldn't need to really mash on them to get a line. So I'm barely applying any pressure. You can see there's some skipping there, right? Now, people who really, really know their pens, they might say something about, oh, you can tune the nib this way or that way. There's things you can do by heating the nib and trying to spread the tines apart to allow for more ink flow. I'm also very used to drawing with broader lines. I have a few fountain pens now. I guess I have more than a few. I have a handful. I don't have a ton, but I have a handful, right? Good handful. And the one I use, number one with a bullet the most, is still my TWSBI Eco. And I have a video on my channel of me unboxing that particular pen as well. Now that pen, my TWSBI Eco, has a medium nib, And so the lines are going to be thicker to begin with, but I also find more so than any other pen I own by a wide margin, that TWSBI Eco lays down lines with such a smooth and buttery flow that I really find to be pleasing. I can show you really quickly. I doodled this, I think last night while I was on the phone. And here's some other doodles with the TWSBI Eco. You can just see, these are just doodles, right? But you see the thickness, boldness of that line as opposed to, this is a much finer line. I'm noticing as well, despite the fact that we were using the platinum carbon black in both the TWSBI Eco and this Jinhao X159, these lines I'm laying down right now are not just thinner by width, but I think the ink is coming out paler and more gray as opposed to a deep dark black. Now I'm trying to apply a medium amount of pressure now. I think, if I really, that's me really like pressing. And I think, yeah, see that, I think I might just have to do some of that. Really, I'm not like mashing the pen down, but it's almost like you have to like get the nib used to bending in that way. I mean, line variation is a good thing when you're drawing particularly. It makes for more dynamic pieces. I do a lot of drawing with just one line width, one nib size on a page, because once again, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not selling pieces, I barely ever do any commissioned work. It's really just for friends, and it's been a long time since I've even done that. So sorry about that. I sat down in my chair. I'm sick of standing and stooping. So my point is, if my art isn't good, it really doesn't matter, because I'm doing it for fun. I'm not doing it to feed myself. Doesn't need to sell. It doesn't need to be I don't need to be technically proficient. It just needs to make me feel good. And if it doesn't, I won't do it. So really for me, getting into fountain pens was a lot more than just finding a new thing to burn money on. It was falling back in love with art, which is something that I loved as a child when I was in elementary school. Growing up, I loved to draw cartoons specifically. I wanted to be a comic book illustrator when I was a little kid. And I got a little bit older and my interests changed, and I did not take any art classes in high school at all. I would doodle in class, but I was not focusing on art. I had other ambitions. I will spare you all the rest of my life story for the time being. We can save that for another time. But until about 2020, yeah, it was during the heat of, lockdown, pandemic times. I call it lockdown because guess what? The pandemic still exists. But when we were all locked down, I was watching a lot of fountain pen YouTube. And I said, what if I bought myself one of these expensive pens that I don't need? A stupid thing for me to spend my money on, right? So I bought a Lamy Safari and I started drawing with it. And much like right now with the Jinhao, where I say I'm not used to this pen, it's different from what I'm used to. in addition to not being used to drawing with a fountain pen, guess what? I wasn't used to drawing at all anymore. I found I could not get lines to do what I felt like I was asking them to do on the page. I would say, I'm trying to get this result and I'm struggling. It is not cooperating. And so I started practicing drawing lines, which is what I'm doing right now. But it stuck, and I found that as I sat with this new object that I enjoyed the feel of in my hand, and I grew to learn the way that it worked, behaved with paper, and, you know, much like how I liked watching people on YouTube draw lines, I liked watching myself draw lines, and I liked feeling the lines come out of the pen and watching these things sort of take shape. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that this became very meditative for me. And, you know, 5 years later now, which feels crazy to say, but 5 years later now, I am still drawing all the time. And I still love doing it. I find it's one of the most therapeutic things for me to do for myself. You know, once again, can't stress enough, I just do this for fun. But it's really helped me. So and what I mean by helped me is like, it got me to fall back in love with something that I loved when I was a child, and I was not practicing at all. I was not drawing when I picked this back up. And finding a tool that inspired me was really the key. So, you know, people will say things like, it's the poor craftsman that blames his tools, right? And I guess I understand where that's coming from, where it's like, yeah, you know, you should be able to make it work or whatever. I'm not saying I need a fountain pen to draw. Guess what? I'll draw with a ballpoint pen and still have a good time drawing. So it's not that I'm saying like you need the best. And also, if I was saying you needed the best, I wouldn't be drawing with a $10 Jinhao fountain pen. I'd have some, you know, hundreds of, or if not thousands of dollars, fancy, expensive artist fountain pen. I don't own any of those. All of my pens would be considered starter pens. Anyway, but I think it's important to find tools that inspire you and find tools that feel good to use. I have not delved into the world of digital art yet. It's something I'm interested in. But my biggest fear is losing this tactile sensation that I love about drawing with pen and ink and paper. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how much of this is. Well, okay, let's recap. This is a brand new pen. This is a budget pen, right? So it's brand new and it's pretty cheap. I use the word inexpensive, but look, it's not the highest quality pen there is. Also not the lowest quality pen. It is new to me, so I am adjusting. I'm learning how it behaves and adjusting accordingly. And if you'll recall, this sketchbook is also new to me. I showed you a couple of pages of it. That's all I've drawn in here. It's Wednesday as I'm recording this video. I bought this on Saturday, I believe. So I haven't even had the sketchbook a week. I'm still getting used to how the paper behaves. And although I do like the paper, I'm not, 100% comfortable with it yet. So I draw these line things, right, to help get control of my lines. And I find now that when I try to draw something less abstract and more representational, I'll say, that I have better control over my hand and what comes out on the paper. Overall, I did not need to buy this pen. I owned one of them, I liked it, but it was not my favorite pen when I owned it. It was just one pen that I had and I misplaced. And I said, well, no matter, it's inexpensive, I can buy another one. And so now 2 years later, I guess looking for something to impulse buy on the internet. Not a great hobby, but I don't do that very often, which is part of why I don't upload to this channel very often, because I'm not really buying stuff online that much. I don't have that many things to unbox, whatever. So I didn't need this, and I bought it anyway, and now I'm using it, and I'm saying, do I prefer my TWSBI Eco? Yes, I do. Is this going to be my go-to pen for drawing? No, it is not. But maybe it is, like all things, maybe it takes a period of adjustment, you know, getting comfortable with how the lines lay down on the page. Yeah, I can, you know, one thing I'm trying to do more of is lay down some big thick lines with the TWSBI Eco and go in with the Sailor 1911 compass, which has fine lines, and lay in some shadow lines, shading, lay some finer lines down, you know? But look at this. So I don't know what, if you are a fountain pen person, I don't know what you make of this. Like, see that when see if I can really zoom in there. That's as far as it goes. I film these videos on my phone, people. See that? To me, I feel like even if I'm barely touching the paper, a line should come out of the pen. I don't appreciate the skipping. I think that is a sign of a subpar nib. Sorry, I'm sounding like very, very judgmental. It really is a you get what you pay for situation, isn't it? You know? If I put more pressure down, there you go. This is not going to be a finished piece of art, whatever that would mean. This is just a test page. You know, what else can I do? Oh my goodness. That's really funny. Yeah, it's funny trying to, I'm finding this paper, this combination of this paper, which I'm wondering if you can see, like, it's thick paper, right? Oh, that's 2 pages. It's thick paper, but it's not very toothy. It's very smooth, which I appreciate because, excuse me, I don't really get like feathering, but look at that. That is like pathetic to me. That line quality really bums me out. I think I'm just gonna have to get used to it. And yeah, maybe try to, you know, people do things with like, they get a razor blade and stick it between the tines of the nib to try to like allow for better ink flow. Maybe just like, that is another reason actually, I'm calling myself out. That's why part of why people say you should rinse your pens out before you fill them the first time. Something I aggressively did not do, and then kind of like said something about, oh, I'm not gonna do that like a nerd or whatever stupid thing I said. So look, maybe if I rinsed it out, it would be better. Maybe if I tried to tune up the nib, it would be better. Am I upset that I spent $10 on this? No, I'm not. I'm lucky enough to be in a financial situation right now where $10 is not going to make or break me. Sorry, everyone. Maybe that makes me a really like a class trader or something in 2025 because everybody's struggling. It's a really hard time to live. But, you know, $10, it's not the end of the world. And I'm going to keep working with it, and maybe it will grow to be a favorite. Who knows, you know? When I bought the TWSBI Eco, did it immediately do everything I wanted it to? Maybe it did. I mean, that's just a great pen. I love that pen. You can watch my video of me getting it a few years ago, and whatever I said, I don't remember. I don't watch my own videos. So this has been a long one, even for me. So I'm going to say this. It's fun to make videos. It's fun to do drawing. I think I might want to do some videos on this channel of just drawing and talking like this because I'm enjoying this. And I don't want to have to like buy things to make videos on a channel that I made that I have very, very few followers on, and I make the rules for what happens on this channel. It's like, I don't want to act like there's rules where it's like, sorry guys, I can't make videos because I just don't buy stuff that often. It's like, I can make videos about whatever I want. So I think I'm going to make some more drawing videos, or I would like to. And if you want to see me do more drawing and rambling like this, you let me know in the comments and let me know if there's any stuff you want to hear me talk about or whatever. This is what I drew. Okay, well, yeah, I'll do more of these at some other point. But Jinhao X159, not a total waste of money, but not my favorite pen. It's totally fine. I like a big chonker. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you have a great day.